Men in good physical health often suffer from chronic anxiety and erectile failure because of a common visual trick. Clinical research identifies this as a visual illusion. When looking down from a standing, first-person perspective, the angle of sight creates a foreshortened view of the anatomy, making it appear shorter than it would to any external observer. This is compounded by the suprapubic fat pad. This layer of tissue sits at the base of the anatomy and physically obscures the starting point from above, hiding a portion of the length from the man's own eyes. Over time, this daily optical distortion creates a persistent disconnect between a man's perception and his physical reality. Correcting this perception requires looking past the surface and into the objective internal pelvic structure. Internal anatomy reveals a much larger structure than what is visible. The suspensory ligament anchors a significant portion of the erectile tissue, the corpora cavernosa, directly behind the pubic bone. Because of this internal anchor, a considerable percentage of the anatomy is housed within the body wall, entirely hidden from surface-level view. When a man is unaware of this internal housing and relies only on the top-down illusion, the resulting mental friction can lead directly to body dysmorphic disorder. To ground this in reality, we can look at the global baselines established by World Health Organization meta-analyses. Data shows the vast majority fall into a narrow average. Extreme outliers are rare. Also, resting length does not correlate with functional length. One cannot predict the other. Men seeking help usually fall within normal statistical ranges. The inadequacy exists only in self-assessment, not math. This is the hallmark of small penis syndrome, the complete rejection of empirical evidence in favor of a distorted internal narrative. That internal narrative has the power to physically disable the body's normal functions. Normally, steady brain signals let smooth muscles relax and blood flow freely. However, size-related anxiety triggers erratic nerve signals. This distress forces muscles to constrict, blocking blood flow. The resulting dysfunction reinforces the patient's anxiety, locking them into a continuous physical failure loop. The physical structures are intact and functional. The breakdown occurs in the neurological signals that bridge the mind and the body. While the initial symptoms are sexual, the long-term mental health trajectory for these men reveals a much deeper deterioration. In clinical psychological autopsies, which reconstruct the mental state of individuals following fatal accidents, researchers identified a pattern of extreme social withdrawal and the total collapse of relationships tied to this dysmorphia. The data suggests that when this condition is left unaddressed, the resulting isolation can fuel a level of clinical depression that leads to high-risk behaviors and tragic outcomes. Because of this potential for systemic psychological collapse, small penis syndrome is treated as a clinical priority rather than a matter of vanity. Clinical intervention focuses on a specific protocol to break the cycle: objective anatomical measurement combined with scientific education. To provide an accurate baseline, a clinician measures by compressing the suprapubic fat pad and anchoring against the pubic bone. This bypasses the visual illusion entirely. When the patient is shown this objective physical data, it serves to contradict the brain's distorted feedback, beginning the process of dismantling the dysmorphia. This process of reassurance is designed to calm the hyperactive nervous system, effectively stopping the distress signals that cause physical dysfunction. By addressing the root of the anxiety through measurement and education, the body's physical responses are typically restored to their intended function. True physical health requires mental clarity. To ensure the body functions as it should, perception must remain anchored in objective science.